So, the Raiders have signed two linebackers, and the better one, in my opinion, cost less money. Nakobe Dean, 3 years, 46 millions, Quay Walker, 3 years, 40 millions. So, the signing of Dean is a B in my opinion. He's a very solid linebacker. I would say he has potential to still improve, and even if he didn't, he managed to sit down J.L. Campbell after coming back from injury despite rookie playing superbly for the Eagles. That's a not short task. Yes, there is some history question, but not that much. He's trained well by the Eagles defense, Big Fangio. You'll love to have him as your LB1. As a LB2, Quay Walker, I don't know, like this really feels like first round pedigree gets you towards places that you should not get. He is to me worth at best 10 millions a year in current linebacker market where Devin Lloyd for the Panthers, we will talk about him later, but he cost 3 years 45 millions. Quay was just a tiny bit less and he's just nowhere near the player. So to me, this is a D. Cowboys have acquired Rashawn Gary for a 4th round pick. 2 years ago, that would sound like a lovely piece of business from the Cowboys. Now they are paying for a guy that Packers decided to cut, and they are still paying for him. 4th round pick. Why would they do it, you might ask? Well, there is a simple answer. By doing so, you make sure that he signs with you, and you are paying this tax necessarily. For the Packers, yeah, they are absolutely happy. They have Lucas Van Ness, they have Micah Parsons, so they needed to create some cap space and decided to cut Rashawn Gary. Now they are getting compensation. Very nice from them. For the Cowboys, does this move make sense? I would say so. Though 4th round is a steep price because that's the price of elite special teamer, backup safety, good running back. At the same time, with Osa, with Quinnen Williams, with Donovan Ezuraku, this is a guy that from the edge, he gives you number 2 edge quality and creates and completes your defensive line. Cowboys continue to invest into their defense. After acquiring Rashawn Gary, they're adding Jalen Thompson to the mix. 3 year, $33 million for a veteran safety coming from Arizona Cardinals. And I think it's a fair value. Jalen might have been in the shadow of Buda Baker from general perspective because Buda is much more fun to watch, more interception, more like highlight plays, etc. But it doesn't mean that Jalen is bad safety. I would argue that there were some seasons in last 3 years that Jalen was actually a better safety of these two guys. Not to slander Buda, he is a hell of a player. For Jalen, he's a versatile guy. He can play at box, as a free safety, at slot, and very well at each of the position. He's also coming off a season in which he was absolutely a secure tackler, missing only 6.5%. So that's a hell of a deal for a safety. Commanders are continuing to rejuvenate their roster with a younger talent. Now, it's not the youngest guys in the league, but at the same time, these are not the guys coming for their 3rd contract. We are talking about Chico Kungfu and Caleb Van Chason. Caleb Van had a really good season with the Patriots, and settling for just 1 year, $12 million feels a little bit odd. I thought like this would be a season or like off season in which he can ask for a multi-year deal. Now this one is another prove-it type of deal. On the other side, the spot is very right for him. There is going to be an opportunity to shine with the Commanders. They are not necessarily flowing in terms of edge talent. So yes, at the same time, I thought this was his time. For Commanders, it's a very nice B. What I don't necessarily like is Chico Kungfu signing. For a guy that, I don't know, like it felt like he was fading out of the favor, never really following up on his very promising rookie season. Like there was something last year. It was not like he was absolutely horrendous. At the same time, 10 million a year for a guy that's not even a base level starting tight end for you right now, and you hope that he's going to progress. I have problems with that. It's a D for me. Admittedly, I am not the biggest fan of Jermaine Edmonds. When he got his first big contract with the Bears, I called it a massive overpay. And it was, as shown by his production. 3 years, apart from that, he's leaving Chicago and coming to New York for a lesser contract, but the one that's actually matching his proper value. And he's, for once, coming off a really strong season. So I actually kind of cautiously optimistic about this move for the Giants, and I will call this a very solid B. Giants are not tinkering with their offensive line. After the success that they have found across this group, they want to keep it as much intact as possible. And for good reasons. They have been a very solid O-line in front of Jackson Dart and Cam Skatebu. They are bringing back German Illuminor. 3 years, 39 million. 13 million a year for a player that most of you guys probably don't necessarily recognize. You don't necessarily see him on the field. And that's kind of a good thing. He is not the problem. That's kind of the selling point of German Illuminor. He's versatile, he can play, he's your base level starter, and he's going to give you his all. He's experienced and he plays solid. For 13 million a year, signing a guy that's not going to be a problem for your offensive line, that's a solid work. B.